Muy buenas tardes para todos y todas.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Cuando entré a esta universidad, esa es la universidad, sentí que todo estaba mucho silencio.
When I walked into this university building a few minutes ago, I found it to be quite quiet and peaceful.
Y entonces pensé, ojalá no sea sinónimo de silencio e indiferencia frente a lo que pasa en los pueblos indígenas.
And I thought to myself, I hope this isn't a metaphor for the silence of all of us in the face of the realities of indigenous peoples in the world.
Sino que por el contrario, debe ser el espacio para reflexionar y discutir sobre las problemáticas que afectan a nuestros pueblos, a nuestras naciones.
A university should be exactly the opposite, a space where we can discuss the great challenges and difficulties in our communities and indigenous communities in Canada and around the world.
Que el silencio sea para profundizar sobre las determinaciones, las decisiones que toman nuestros gobiernos.
So that this silence may be an opportunity and a space for reflection around decisions made by our governments.
Es decir, la academia tiene una alta responsabilidad en el presente, con el presente y el futuro de nuestros pueblos.
And I think it's important to say that the Academy, in fact, has a very important role to play in the present and the future of our peoples.
Y es en ese sentido y en ese contexto que voy a expresar algunas preocupaciones de los pueblos indígenas de Colombia.
And it's in that light and in that context that I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about the current reality of indigenous peoples in Colombia.
Y que seguramente, guardando las proporciones, es la misma que experimentan muchos pueblos indígenas del mundo.
And perhaps with differences in degree and severity, is the same experience that indigenous peoples face in many other countries and other parts of the world.
Lo primero que quiero recordar es que para los pueblos indígenas la historia no ha cambiado tanto.
The first thing I'd like to remind everyone here of is that for indigenous peoples, history, in fact, has not changed that much.
La conquista y el genocidio cometido en tiempos anteriores fue por nuestros recursos.
The conquest that happened in past centuries, the conquering of our peoples by other peoples, took place with resource extraction at its heart and very much part of that context.
Ejemplos de eso tenemos muchos en los distintos países.
There are many examples of this throughout the Americas.
Hoy la lucha que desciframos los pueblos indígenas de Colombia y de muchas partes del mundo tienen que ver con la presencia de empresas, no necesariamente en nuestros países, sino también de países extranjeros que quieren extraer y llevarse los recursos naturales de nuestros territorios.
And this is still very much the reality today. So the difficulties faced by our peoples in Colombia and in many other countries have to do then with the presence often of foreign companies and their desire to extract resources from our lands.
Si en la conquista y en la colonia se utilizó el requerimiento, era una figura jurídica, algo que hacía para justificar la dominación y el saqueo de nuestros recursos, hoy se utilizan los cambios y las reformas legales de nuestros países para legitimar el saqueo de esos territorios.
And the discourse around justifying the extraction of resources in our lands have not really changed that much since colonial times. In colonial times there was a whole discourse around the building of empire, around monopolies. Today we hear a discourse that has to do with reforming legislation, deregulating and changing laws to allow for easier access by companies to resources.
Tengo que aclarar que en términos legales, en términos teóricos, pues hay unos reconocimientos y unos avances en los órdenes internos, pero también en el orden internacional.
I should recognize right away that both theoretically and jurisprudentially and legally, there have been some advances made in terms of the recognition of certain rights.
Las reformas constitucionales en América Latina, la declaración y los distintos instrumentos asumidos en el marco de las Naciones Unidas así lo muestran.
Reforms to various constitutions in Latin American countries and also a number of conventions and instruments that have been developed at the UN, at the international level, show that this in fact is the case.
El problema es que los mismos estados que firman estas leyes, estas declaraciones, son los que después no la implementan y la incumplen.
The problem, of course, is that the same states who sign on to these international declarations and conventions and who reform their own constitutions and laws then do not implement and put into practice what they have signed.
La Declaración de Naciones Unidas sobre Derechos Indígenas, el Convenio 169 de la OIT, Organización Internacional del Trabajo, son expresamente claros sobre el comportamiento que deben de tener los estados respecto de los derechos indígenas.
Both the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the ILO's Convention 169 are very clear on the responsibility of states with regards to the rights of indigenous peoples in the context of extractive activities.
Volviendo a la idea de esa dinámica permanente de saqueo de nuestros recursos, quiero señalar que los tratados de libre comercio, en este caso el Tratado de Libre Comercio Colombia-Canadá, no es más que un instrumento que legitima la entrada de empresas a nuestros territorios.
And coming back to this theme of the rape, for lack of a better word, of our resources, the free trade agreement between Canada and Colombia is precisely an example of an agreement that allows for an opening up of our lands, ancestral homelands, to companies to come in and take the resources that are found there.
Quiero señalar que el Tratado de Libre Comercio con Canadá, Colombia-Canadá, no fue consultado a los pueblos indígenas.
And I'd like to point out to all of you here, very importantly, that the Canada-Colombia Free Trade Agreement was not done, was not negotiated, was not written with any consultation, meaningful consultation with the indigenous peoples of Colombia.
La reforma al Código Minero en Colombia apunta precisamente a generar seguridad jurídica para las empresas e inseguridad jurídica para los pueblos indígenas y sus territorios.
And in fact, the reform of the mining law in Colombia had as its very explicit purpose to ensure the security of companies and corporations in their activities in Colombia and make sure that precisely that security was not offered and extended to individuals and communities.
Nosotros tenemos una alta preocupación porque la Corte Constitucional ha señalado que uno de los factores de riesgo de exterminio de nuestros pueblos son los megaproyectos económicos en los territorios.
And we are very concerned because this is a very urgent moment in Colombia. Our own constitutional court, highest court in the land, has said that we are at a place now in Colombia where it is precisely the activities of many of these mining companies that are contributing to the extermination and disappearance of a number of indigenous nations and peoples in Colombia.
Y la situación se hace mucho más grave en la medida en que en Colombia existe conflicto armado.
And of course, this is made even more complicated and difficult by the fact that Colombia is a country that has a long-standing armed conflict.
En la última década, en las últimas décadas se ha podido comprobar que todos los conflictos armados, los procesos de desplazamiento forzoso de los campesinos, indígenas y afrocolombianos de sus territorios ha obedecido a intereses económicos.
And many studies and much evidence point to the fact that almost all of the conflict in Colombia over the past decades and the forced displacement of many communities as Afro-descendant communities, indigenous communities, campesino communities, is due directly to the activity of multinationals and other corporations who want to extract resources from various parts of the Colombian territory.
También se ha demostrado que donde quiera que se ha hecho gran extracción de recursos naturales es donde la pobreza y la miseria se ha incrementado para los pobladores.
It's also been shown that precisely where large mining and extractive activity has taken place, poverty and misery has in fact increased for a lot of local people.
¿Qué podrían hacer ustedes o qué podrían hacer desde Canadá? Estar muy atento al actuar de las empresas en nuestros territorios.
What can we all do from Canada? Well, one thing is that we need to pay more attention to what our companies do abroad.
Exigir del gobierno canadiense informar a los pueblos indígenas sobre los intereses y las empresas que tienen o van a tener presencia en los territorios.
We can demand that our government and our companies be more transparent about which entities and which corporations, which companies are going to be active and where in Colombia, because often that information is not forthcoming and not clear.
Estar muy atento a la situación de derechos humanos en esos territorios donde hacen presencia las empresas canadienses.
Continue to observe and follow up on human rights violations and respect for or lack thereof of human rights in areas where Canadian companies are active in Colombia.
Exigir también del gobierno canadiense posibilite la presentación de informes alternativos por parte de los pueblos indígenas en el marco de ese compromiso que tiene presentar un informe de los impactos del Tratado de Libre Comercio con Colombia.
The demand of our government, of the Canadian government, to make sure that there is feed-in participation of indigenous peoples in Colombia in the annual reporting process that must take place under the Canada-Colombia Free Trade Agreement. There has to be a report produced for Parliament, and there needs to be indigenous participation and consultation in that process.
Eso nada más.
So that's where I'll leave it for now, because we'll have questions.
Gracias.
Thank you.